All right, so geometry. Looking at the document that I gave you with the Math 1 goals and the 8th grade goals, we need to learn angle relationships. So the very first thing I asked was, how many angles are there? Yes, ma'am?
3.
3 angles. Okay. So we got 3. Anybody else got a different number besides 3? Because I know for a fact that there are acute, right, isosceles. That's 3 right there. Then there's straight. That's 4. So then there's a circle. That's 5. So it's more than 3. Circle is a 360-degree angle. Yes, ma'am.
360.
It's at least
No, there are not 360 angles. Yes, ma'am.
6.
6 what? Okay, so what are they? She says 6.
The cube, obtuse, right, circle, straight, and
Scaling. Really? Okay.
And so is that also. Yeah.
So there's no such thing as a vertical angle? There's no such thing as an alternate interior angle? There's no such thing as a complementary angle? There's no such thing as a supplementary angle? Those things don't exist? Let's put it at a lot. Exactly. There are a lot of types of angles, and we need to learn all of the ones that you're responsible for. So let's start. They start this way. This is the 8th grade portion that you absolutely have to positively know. You have to know about parallel lines. So parallel lines are basically 2 lines of equal distance apart that will never intersect. 2 lines of equal distance apart that will never intersect. Now, the most important part about this particular thing that you should have learned a little bit of in 7th grade is that these parallel lines will now be intersected by another line. And that line is called a transversal. This line is called a transversal. Why is it called a transversal? Well, let's break the word down. Trans means across. Verse is line. So across the line. That's what a transversal is. It goes across the line. It's a transversal. Okay. So anytime you have 2 parallel lines that are intersected by a transversal, it creates some angles. Now these are the angles that you got to know. The very first type of angle that it creates is called an adjacent angle. Adjacent angle. Adjacent angle. Eric and Jennifer are adjacent to each other. Ronald and Rourke are adjacent to each other. What do you think adjacent means? Side by side. Do you see that this angle is adjacent to this angle? They are side by side. These 2 angles right here are side by side. These 2 angles right here are side by side. These 2 angles right here are side by side. Therefore, they are adjacent. They are adjacent. Side by side. In this particular instance right here, these 2 angles right here sit up. Sit up. In these instance right here, these 2 angles right here, they will either give you a supple, not supple, but supplementary angle, or a complementary angle. Supplementary, of course, in all our years of learning about angles are 2 angles, 2 or more angles that add up to be 180 degrees. Complementary angles are 2 or more angles that add up to be 90 degrees. So we got adjacent, supplementary, complementary. adjacent, supplementary, and complementary. Now we can move on and talk about two more types of angles. Okay? Two angles that only thing that they have in common are vertices are called vertical angles. And vertical angles are two angles that are on top of each other. Therefore, they are vertical. 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 Vertical angles. Two angles that are on top of each other. Like those two angles right there in red are vertical. These two angles right here in green are vertical. The only thing they have in common is the vertex. Here's this ray, there's that ray. Here's this ray, here's that ray. The only thing they have in common is the vertex. Therefore, the only thing they share is a vertex. Therefore, they are vertical. Well, that brings us to another type of angle. What's true about vertical angles? Vertical angles have the same degree measurement. Therefore, they are congruent. Vertical angles are congruent. Vertical angles are congruent, which means that they have the same degree. They are the same size and the same shape. Therefore, they have the same degree of angle. Therefore, they are congruent. That brings us to another type of angle. Well, if you notice here, I have adjacent angles here. These two angles right here, when I add them together, they form a straight line, which is what kind of angle?